Welcome back to Big Red Rant, everybody. It seems like Nebraska and Matt Rhule have officially agreed on a 5-year extension, Gary. That's the rumor, through 2030. Will Compton tweeted recently letting everybody know that he talked to Rhule, it would seem, and that it's not done, but he hopes that it gets done soon. So there's a press conference today, Thursday before the game, and you've got to imagine it's going to be announced somewhere before or even during. Tell us in the comments what you initially think of this. Are you excited as a Husker fan to have Matt Rhule locked in for the next 5 years or whatever the term ends up being? Gary, is this all about keeping him away from Penn State? I know you and I are both excited about this, but do you think this was completely necessary? And how do you feel about the length of time of this proposed contract?
Yeah, man, I think it's just the way it is. It's the new era. It's another part of the new era of college football. It's overpay for coaches, and then you have to continue to overpay for them to stay. In the days of, well, we'll wait until the last year to renew him if we're going to keep him, it's not realistic. You look at 160 something, 170 some million owed to coaches that have been fired just as of now. We're a little over halfway through the season. So to me, that's not even a real talking point or issue anymore. I know some people are still talking about it, but to me, those are people that are still upset that players can transfer whenever they want. And there's NIL. I mean, it's like it or not, right or wrong. I'm not even saying what I do or don't agree with. It's just the way college football is now. Yes, to answer your question of to make sure he's kept from Penn State, but I think it's bigger than that. Where his press conference after Franklin was fired got picked apart because he didn't flat out say, "I'm not going to Penn State. I'm staying at Nebraska." And then when he was on Pat McAfee and talked about it, it was a little bit more definitive. Rhule came out, talked about it, tweeted about it that Rhule's not going anywhere. This is is sure this is more than even if he did come out and said, "I'm not going to Penn State. I'm staying here," because it's a fresh contract. Why would you add more money to depart if you're the AD if it's not a 100% thing? He's staying. So I think it's a big message that to other schools, not just Penn State, but other schools, the fan base to calm down, whether they like it or not. They know he's going to be the guy going forward. And more importantly, to recruits, both recruits that you currently have committed, that you're trying to get committed, you're trying to get that decommitted from Penn State specifically or other schools, and guys on your current roster that you don't want to have to worry about losing. So I think that's kind of 1A of this whole thing. And the next part that I think is just as important is it tells you Matt Rhule gets accused a lot of lip service and used car salesman talk and things like that. I feel like he's pretty honest and more open than most coaches, especially coaches that we've had, definitely more so than Frost. But him talking about the process and it's more of a slow burn, it's not the Signetti style. It's fine when your coach says that, but something like this happening tells you that the program and the AD specifically are also on board with it. So as fans, we can get emotional. We can react to this guy's got to go. This guy needs to be fired. We need new this. We need new that after every single win or loss, or go back to, oh, we're turning the corner. We're great after a win. The sky's falling after every loss. The steady progression. I said in one of the last videos that, Matt Rule's worst year here when he legit didn't have a quarterback and was trying to piece together a dumpster fire of a team was the best record that I think Frost had in even towards the end of the Riley deal. So, and it's gotten better since then. So the progress is there. Again, I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. It's not necessarily the progress or the speed of the progress that all the fans want to have or see, but the people in charge running things, looking at things from a big picture, more of a business standpoint, not an emotional reaction to everything, they're on board with it as well. And this just kind of solidifies that you can get upset if we lose to USC in embarrassing fashion, if we lose 4 games during November, if we don't win again until the bowl game, doesn't matter. The core of this whole thing is going to stay in place and hopefully continue to be built on. But the doubt or the uncertainty, I think, is all but eliminated with this new, this extension of this signing, or however you want to word it.
It really upsets me how many Husker fans don't like Rhule. It makes me feel crazy, like I'm taking crazy pills or something. And it just seems so obvious. He's a unbelievable recruiter, and I think if we're just patient, stack enough great recruiting classes, and I do mean great, not just good, recruiting classes on top of each other within a certain amount of time, you're going to have so much talent that good things are going to get better and better and better. And once we have enough talent on the field, I really think our luck will turn around for good and totally turn the corner. And he is clearly the type of coach to not only bring them in as recruits, but to build and maintain relationships with. They love him, dude. They love Matt Rhule.
Yep.
What more matters than that, as long as he can continue to bring in, above average to good coordinators to run schemes and stuff? Like, who are we kidding at this point? I think that this move was a must, and we would have been in dark days ahead. And I'm sure that angers people to say that. Some people.
One of the big things is going to be you can have all this talent and money and time. If you're not developing people, it doesn't matter. Well, there's been a good chunk of turnover in the short time he's been here as far as coaches and coordinators and things like that goes. So that has yet to be seen, but much like game to game, what needs addressed during games, we see that from game to game, maybe not long-term fixes. We've seen it over the past few seasons. We didn't have a quarterback year one. We get the number one recruit out of that class, to follow it up. Receivers needed addressed. He did that the same year. Most of the guys left because of eligibility and things. We get another great receiving class. I don't feel like he ignores things. I just don't feel like the things being addressed are at the pace that fans that want to win titles yesterday want. And the unrealistic expectations that Nebraska have, a lot of Nebraska fans have, is they're not letting it affect them. And of course you can't. It's the old adage that if you listen to the fans, you're going to end up sitting with them. So this gives time. This eliminates the uncertainty. And I think the one of the bigger parts of this is this era of college football is all about money, man. It's all big business stuff. And Nebraska as a brand is growing more under Matt Rhule than it ever did under the other guys because of a lot of the things people don't like about him, especially when we lose. They don't quit podcasting and coach, quit going on Pat McAfee and coach. That's getting a lot of eyeballs on Nebraska, not just from other fan bases or college football fans around literally the globe, but around the country. But it's also getting a lot of attention from recruits that are so many Nebraska fans that are impatient or living in the 90s. They're older, man. Like I'm old. I'm an old Husker fan, and there's a lot older than me that remember even better times, for longer stints. But these kids that are getting recruited, they live online. They live on social media. Pat McAfee's bigger than Sports Center was for us when we were kids, So it's like he's tapping into the right things. The AD and the program are acknowledging it. They're on board with it. And I think this is going to help everything kind of settle down. Not saying everybody love it, but people settle down and realize this is the way it's going to be. And if there was any pressure, any uncertainty, obviously Matt Rule's talking to Troy Dan, and it's not just as we hear things, that's when Matt Rhule finds out. But him knowing he has the full support of the AD and the rest of the program allows him to not have to worry about looking over his shoulder, pressing too hard or taking too much risk of, I got to get this done yesterday or I'm going to be gone, to where he can keep doing the thing he's doing, keep building the brand up, keep getting the attention of recruits, keep developing his culture and his style the way he wants it within the program. And I think it's just all the way around. I think it's good. That I'm not saying everybody's going to be happy. There's a lot of people that aren't going to like it, but this isn't a vote. We don't vote on the fan bases at the end of every year to see what we want as far as coaches or coaching staff goes. So I'm happy with it. I just hope that things keep trending in the right direction. It would be nice if the pace picked up. I'm not saying I like the pace that it's going, but I'm not upset about it. Like if you've got a method and it's going to take an X amount of time, okay, give the guy what he needs and the what he thinks time wise it is, and then just look at the big picture results, not reassess everything after every single individual game.